All right. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to look in Google search and we're going to see what's currently ranking, what are some SEOs, what are some roofers doing currently to get their profile ranking. If you have any questions, if you have any SEO related questions, if it's about your Google Business Profile or your website, go ahead and drop them down in the chat as I get everything started here. Just making sure everything's working properly. I can see chats if y'all got questions. If you do have a question and you're okay with me showing it on stream, you can copy the link of your Google Business Profile and you can leave it in chat, and I'll look over it live with you, kind of like go through your Google Business Profile, and if I see anything, any glaring issues or any questions that you have, you can also ask them with your Google Business Profile or your website. You're like, hey, Chris, can you just take a look over this and see like what is currently going on? So yeah, we are first keyword we're gonna look in search just to kind of like see what's going on with Google. Has the search results page changed at all? Is gonna be Roofer Dallas. So the goal here is just to see what's currently occurring in search, what are current businesses that are ranking doing, what are maybe some SEO tactics that we can pick up, some things that we can learn, kind of see what is not only the competition doing, but also like what can we learn from others, right? Google is currently serving what is ranking, and they're ranking for a reason. So every so often, just pop into search, see not only what is your competition doing, like let's say you are a roofer in Dallas, pop into search, see what is currently ranking, search for your keyword, do it in incognito, have someone else do it from their phone, right? Just see what's currently ranking and what can we learn from them, right? So first thing I want to do is actually I want to check the Google Business Profiles. So I'm going to click on the first one. We're going to kind of just see also this right here, this little information right on the side that just popped up is called Plepper. It is a great Chrome extension. It's spelt Plepper, Plepper Chrome extension. I highly recommend it. As you can see here on the right, it's just giving us a whole bunch of more information that normally isn't visible here. As an example, it's giving us their services, which to me is fascinating that they only have one service listed on their profile. And from my search, granted, I'm not in Dallas, but still from my search, they're ranking first. So for their categories, their roofing contractor is their top level category, great categories. And then they have gutter cleaning service. That's interesting for a secondary category. I'm going to switch over to maps because it's going to let me view the profile a lot easier. And that's interesting. When we switch over to maps, we get a different display of who's ranking. Okay, so new view roofing. Is this the same one? Yeah, it is. Okay. So first thing we're seeing here already is they've got their top level keyword roofing in the Google Business Profile name. This is something that is talked a lot about, and it is a great thing to do for your Google Business Profile is to have that top level keyword you're trying to rank for, like roofer, roofing, in the Google Business Profile name. So just again, remind everybody, if you have a Google Business Profile you'd like me to look at live, or you have a website you want me to look at, or if you just have any questions, make sure you're dropping them down in the chat so that I can answer them for you. All right. So they've got the appointment link, which is great. They've got their website link here as well. So already I'm seeing a tiny little technical thing that's wrong. So when you go to place your URLs, whether that is on your Google Business profile or that is even internally on your own site, or if it's on social media profiles, so you've got like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, etc., right? Anything external or anything internal on your site needs to have the proper URL structure that you want, and it has to remain consistent everywhere, internally, externally, your canonical tags, anything that Google can find, and just in general best practices, you need to have your URL structure stay similar. Not, no, actually not similar. It has to be exactly the same. So what do I mean by this? So right here, I'm hovering over their website URL, and it does not have www in front of it. Now, it may seem like a small thing. You're like, it's missing the www. But what that does is that you're constantly feeding Google. We'll have to actually click the site to see. What you're doing is you're constantly feeding Google a 301 redirect. Or if you don't have the 301 redirect, I haven't clicked it yet, so I don't know. If you do not have the 301 redirect set up, what you're doing is you're feeding Google the non-www version of your site. So what does that mean? So you have rather the www or you have the non-www version of your site. One's not better than the other. All that matters is that you pick one and that remains consistent across everything. All of your citations, again, any of your social media profiles, right? So if you don't have a 301 redirect, what is happening is that Google can visit the www version and it can visit the non-www version. What this means is that for Google, you have two identical sites. They're literally duplicates of each other. So that's not good. And also, what you have occurring is Google is going to use its crawl budget. A crawl budget is the amount of times Google is willing, the amount of times Google is allowing itself to come by and crawl your site. So if you have two duplicate versions of your site, right? So you have this www version resolving, and then you have this non-www version resolving. What's occurring is that half of your crawl budget is being spent on either of these. That's if you don't have if you don't have a redirect set up, right? Now, I still haven't clicked on this yet because I don't know what they've got set up for their site, but this is something that you need to be considering is internally, right? Like your canonical tags or even just your links, your navigation links to other pages on your site all need to be the same structure. So let's actually open this and let's see what happens. So when I click the URL, I am taken to the non-www version of their webpage. I'm just going to remove this UTM parameter just because I want to see what happens. So I'm taken to this. So the non-www version is what I'm currently on right now. Now, for their appointment link right here, right above it, this URL in the bottom left, you may not be able to see it, but I can see it. I'll just tell you. This has a www.url in it. So we're going to open this and we're going to see what happens. So it takes us to their contact page, which is great, right? When you have these fields or forms or little spots on your Google Business profile, even if you don't have an appointment setting software, just place, like they have, a link to your contact page. So on their contact, they've got the non-www version. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove contact us. I'm just going to do the top level domain by itself. I'm going to type www and I'm going to see what happens. So it is redirecting me to the non-www version. I'm going to do it again just to double check. Okay, so I'm being redirected. Now let's see what happens if I do an HTTP version. That's redirecting me to HTTPS version, which is great. So they have the redirect set up. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having the redirect set up. The only thing that's occurring is that because they have this www URL version in their appointment link, what's happening is Google is going to go and try and crawl that, and it's just going to get a 301. And it's going to be like, why am I getting a 301? Why are you? It's just you're confusing Google, and you're just not helping yourself. A simple fix of literally just removing that www in front of the URL it's just going to help you. It's just a quick little simple fix. Another way to diagnose this is that you'll go in your Google Search Console, you'll go to indexing, you'll go to pages, and then you'll see redirects, page with redirects. And you need to go through that list, and then you need to go to the URL inspection. And then when you URL inspect it, you need to expand it, and it'll say referring from. A lot of the times this will tell you if you have any external referring links or if you have any internal referring links, right? It'll give you the URL and where that link is coming from. So rather you can go and change the URL or what have you. So what I'm also interested in is so this is a Ahrefs Chrome extension. I highly recommend this Chrome extension. It is a great Chrome extension. What I want to check is what is their canonical tag? Okay, so they've got this correct. So the www version of their URL is redirecting to the non-www version of their URL, and their canonical tag is the non-www version. So on the site currently, it's great, right? They've got the redirect set up. They've got the correct canonical tag. The only thing that's hurting them now, this isn't gonna tank the site, but it's just 1,000 small cuts add up. So what they would need to do is go on their Google Business Profile and literally just change this URL to a non-www version. And I would also want them to go and check all of their social profiles as well and see, hey, like guys, what's going on here? So yeah, I'm just looking at the canonical tag, and boom, they've got the non-www version as the canonical, which is great. But what I'm interested in now is when I go to visit their site. So it gives me there's no trailing slash, which is interesting. Okay. So it identifies as veteran owned. This is an attribute you can set in your Google Business Profile. If this is accurate, you should set this. What this can do is, let's say someone searches for veteran owned roofer near me, or veteran owned roof, like roofing contractor or what have you with veteran owned in the search query, right? And I'll do this live to kind of set an example for you. Let's do Roofer Dallas veteran owned. I should probably spell veteran right. What you can see is, oh, interesting, it's not showing the Google Business Profiles. So what happens if I go to, Maps? It's gonna show this pretty expanded because I'm not currently in Fort Worth or Dallas. So let's see. Interesting, it's not showing the attribute. So this one says veteran owned. Maybe I need to put veteran owned in the front. So let's try this again. And again, what we're doing today is we are just searching in Google. We're just seeing like what's currently going on, what are current SEOs doing to help rank their clients, and also just like in general, what can we learn from how they're currently ranking or what they're doing for their like current clients, etc. So this is interesting. Veteran owned roofer Dallas. So we're getting an AI overview, which is interesting because for just Roofer Dallas, we didn't get an AI overview. So we're getting some Reddit threads here from r/Fort Worth. So let's see, show all. So we're getting the Roofer Pros Dallas, talking about how they're veteran owned. And so I'm just looking right here on the right side, and I'm just trying to see like what is Google pulling from, because it's also going to give me an idea of what I need to be doing for my clients if they were veteran owned or if they were wanting to rank for those terms, you know? So it looks like because they have interesting veteran roofing VRC group. Huh. So if this is something that you were wanting to advertise as, we can take a lot of the examples from here of what is currently working to apply to our own. So let's see. So in the AI overview, this this is fascinating. This Google Business Profile has 7 reviews, and it's ranking above one with 35. It's ranking above one with 697, and it's ranking above this one with 510. Texas Vets Roofing. Huh. So let's see. So disabled veteran owned company founded by, where is this coming from? So they're pulling this from the website. So let's see. Can I open this website? Will it let me? So okay, this just speaks to, this is awesome. I'm so glad this happened live. So this just speaks about really getting verbose on your about page. Look at this. So I typed in veteran owned roofer Dallas. I get this AI overview, and it is pulling information from this business's about page about how they are veteran owned. This Google Business Profile with 7 reviews is ranking higher than a Google Business Profile with 697 reviews. And it's interesting because, so this one is pulling from the about page. This one is just pulling from the home page. Which one is which? That's the home page, and that's the home page. So that's it. Okay. So this is just one example, but it is super interesting to see. Okay, so out of all of these, this one is ranking number 1 currently. Now, something to consider is that I'm nowhere near Dallas, so this is definitely going to have like a massive effect on this search term or this search query, right? This is not a representation. This is not a representative data sample that is going to be conclusive across all of search, right? What we're doing is we're just getting like a better idea of like what's currently occurring, right? And this is going to help us get us, this is going to help give me some ideas of some things that I need to be testing, not only on some of my test sites, but also for some of my client sites, right? If they were a veteran owned roofer in Dallas, or if they were a veteran owned business in general, this is clearly demonstrating to me that on my about page, I need to have a verbose about section of the fact that, hey, like we have this attribute or this thing about us that we are veteran owned, you know? So what I'm also super curious, just going on in my brain right now, is what is going on with their schema. In their schema, let's see. Let's do vet description. Okay, now I'm not saying that this is a direct cause of them appearing first, but we can see in their schema right here, description, veteran-owned roofing company serving DFW since 1998. So, okay, so they've got the same as schema link to their, they've got the same link to their, is this their Google Business Profile? Because if they're doing some weird URL manipulation here, which I'm just not used to. Okay, well, yeah, no, that works exactly the way it's supposed to. They've also got a Better Business Bureau, same as schema link here as well. Let's see if make sure this works. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so I mean, the 2 examples or the 2 data points that I'm pulling from here, just some things to consider to test for me is getting verbose on my about page. And then another thing that we can see is in the description, the same as schema, they're talking about, or sorry, not the same as schema, the description schema we can see here, veteran-owned roofing companies serving. DFW, right? So then let's go and let's look at these second ones. Well, hold on, let's see. So the first link here on the right, let's go see if this has any information about why maybe this one is ranking number 1. So we're gonna go to this Reddit thread. So let's see, Roof Pro Dallas Inc. is the first one. So let's see, I'm finally starting the process of getting our roof replaced, blah, 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 blah. I found a local company that, hold on, let's do this. Has anyone had recent experience with a local veteran-owned roofer after hail claim? Okay. Okay. They seem legitimate, but every roof site promises the same thing. I appreciate the insights. I'm wary of a company. Okay. Okay, so far on this Reddit thread, I'm not seeing anything about this company right here, Roof Pro Dallas. Still not seeing anything. I'm seeing some links to some other roofers. Dallas link. Okay, so none of that really supports why this is ranking number 1. So then we're gonna go. So these are all just their own links, their own website links talking about them. Huh. This is super interesting. So what is it now saying? Several. Let's see. Let's ask why did you put Roof Pro Dallas first? Why did you put Roof Pros Dallas? Let's spell pros. Pros Dallas Inc. first? Question mark. Was it? Well, actually, let's not influence it, right? Let's just ask. Let's see what it says. Oh. Okay, deleted my message. Why did you put Roof Pros Dallas Inc. first? Question mark. So again, the whole point of this right now is we're just currently searching for a roofer in Dallas, and we're just seeing like what's currently happening in Google search, right? What is currently ranking? What are people doing to their websites currently? Just so we can get like a better understanding of what it takes to currently rank. What are people doing? Okay, so let's see. And so what we just recently searched, just for anyone tuning in right now, we searched in veteran-owned roofer Dallas, and we're just kind of seeing like what is occurring to have these profiles rank higher than the others. And I just asked, why did it place this one first, right? Because maybe it'll tell us why, and then we can use that data to then test later with to get more confidence of, okay, what do we need to be doing on our sites, on our Google Business profiles to help us rank, or for me to help rank my clients, right? And this is also if you have any questions on your Google Business profile or your website, what you currently have going on, you can just ask and I'll do my best to answer them. Okay, so let's see. I placed this first because they are a strong match, a locally operated, highly rated, and veteran-owned roofing contractor. So then it links to their website. This is the main page. This is Bird Eye Reviews. Okay. And then this is Maps Quest. Okay. So that's its sources. They were positioned at the top due to 3 specific factors. Leadership. Okay. So let's see. It's using the About page as its source. Okay, look at this. It's directly quoting a former U.S. Army Ranger. So let's actually go to the site. Does it say this? Founded by, there we go. Interesting. Okay. Strong performance reputation. They maintain a stellar feedback. Okay, so where's the sources from this? So it's pulling from someone else. That's interesting. Comprehensive. Do they full-scale residential replacements, storm hail replacements? Okay, let's see. Where is it sourcing this? Same sources. No. A temporary operational closer. Are you trying to address and are you looking to get standard? Okay. So let's see. So what about on their about page led you to serve them as first place? Let's just ask. Let's see what it has to say. Longevity, rarity. Let's see. Let's ask. Did it read the schema? Did you read their schema, JSON, LD? Interesting. So it's not telling me if it read it, but it's telling me how to read it. Okay. Okay. So then now the second time that I search for veteran-owned roofer Dallas, it's changed up the results a little bit. I'm getting totally different results. That's very interesting. Okay. So then let's just go back to their profiles. Let's see. They've got some nice photos, excellent reviews. So this is also something else that I've been finding like really fascinating is Google is kind of categorizing these reviews, or how would you say, just it's like picking up on key terms or keywords that are relevant to the search term or like relevant to the search query. And then also sometimes it's just like it will condense the reviews down to these like specific things. And it sounds like they're more of a gutter replacement than a roof company. Because look at this, gutter replacement is 35 times and they barely have anything talking about reviews. So I wonder, there's no evidence of this right now, but I wonder if that hurts their rankings at all, or if that has any impact on them what people choose to do with their services or etc. These are some great photos. This is awesome by them to get. Well, it looks like they probably took the photos and gave them to the customer because I doubt the customer is willing to get on the roof. I don't know. I'm not a roofer. You can let me know if that's true or not, but I would highly doubt that someone's willing to get on the roof just to take a photo. Uh, Great team photo. This is awesome. First thing that a customer sees. They've got a video. New view. We're going to mute that. This is great. The only thing I would do for this video is I would add branding because, I mean, this just looks stock. Nobody knows who actually owns this or who actually did this. I do have the sound muted, so that would also probably help. This is a great video. It just shows, hey, who's going to be working on your stuff. People probably love this. I don't. Yeah, I mean, you can do that. Another great photo. Now they've got the branding. They got people working. This is awesome. Yeah, these are great. These guys are doing great. So that's their photos. That's their reviews. Let's do their about. Online estimates. Okay. So now let's actually look at their site because we've really just been talking a lot about their Google Business Profile. But now let's actually look and see what they've got going on with their site. So we've already talked about the 301 redirect that they've got going on, and also the external links that they have pointing to their site, which are probably causing them a little bit of damage. Of you've got these www versions, you got these non-www versions. And so what you have going on is you're kind of losing a little bit of your like link. You're losing a little bit of the link equity you normally get from that. And not only that, you're also getting a you're like basically cutting your crawl budget in half for no reason. When you can just simply go and change that. So let's go look at their social profiles. So they've got this. So they have threads, but they don't have it linked on here. So let's go and click this. This takes them, I don't know what that is. That's interesting. Let's go look at their posts. Are they posting their URLs? Explore. So they've got a URL shortener. I don't know. I wouldn't personally do that. I would personally just have the full URL there. Just making sure again that it's matching. If you do the www version or if you don't do the www version, you just got to make sure that externally everything's matching. Yeah, so I would put a link on all their social posts back to their site. I wouldn't do this URL shortener. I'm not sure. I don't know why they're doing that. Also, yeah. Okay, so let's go look at their Facebook profile. So I'm just looking at their links. So again, we have another instance of their external links, right, on their social profiles or on your Google Business profile or on any of your backlinks. They have a link right here. You may not be able to see it, but I can tell you what it says. It is the www version of their website. So let's see what happens when we click this. So we're taken to their website. We're 301 redirected to the non-www version. Okay. Let's see. Are they putting links to their site? No links to their site on their social posts. I personally would. No links. And I'm just going to scroll down quite a bit to see a lot of their posts, kind of see have they ever linked to their page? No links to their page. Okay. Let's go to their YouTube. Let's look at their links. So this isn't telling me what URL this is. So I'm gonna kind of look at the code just a little bit here just to see. So for this link, they have it pointing to the non-www version of their URL, which is great. Let's see what they're doing with this one. This one is the non-www version, which is great. Let's see what they're doing with this one. Yep, again, non-www version. This is great. And then let's look at this one. That's awesome. Yeah. So just on the Facebook profile and on their Google Business profile, they need to remove the URL structure that they have. So let's go look at this. Let's just pause this. Do they have links? So again, they're doing this. I'm not sure why they're doing this, maybe to track it. But I would definitely not do this buff thing that they're doing with their URLs. I would just directly link to my site. I would just place the URL there. So in some of them they are. So here, non-www version, which is great. Scroll just a little bit farther back, 4 years ago. Let's go here. Yep, great. Yep, the URLs are great. Let's go look at their LinkedIn profile isn't linked on their site. I would definitely get that. They also don't have their Threads account linked. I would also get that linked on their site. And if you want me to look over your site, just drop the URL or your Google Business profile right now in the chat, and I will take a look over it for you. Or if you just have any general SEO questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat to ask. So On their LinkedIn profile, again, we just have another little URL that's wrong. It's got the www version. Let's see, get directions. So they're linking to their Bing, which there's nothing wrong with this. It's just I would personally link to my Google profile. Also, just something to touch on real quick. Bing is definitely a under tapped or under. Oh, actually that makes sense because LinkedIn's a Microsoft product, so I doubt they'd let you link to your. I doubt they would let you link to your Google business profile when Microsoft is owned or Microsoft owns LinkedIn and Bing. So yeah, never mind on that. One thing to consider though is that if you're not on Bing, it's Google makes a majority of the search traffic, right? Probably like something of 9%. Or not 90%. They definitely have a monopoly, but you definitely still want to be on all of the other search platforms like Bing, like Apple Maps. It's just another free source of traffic. You don't necessarily have to really do too much different. Yeah, just another free platform to get free traffic from. So I definitely fixed that URL back to their site. So let's see, we'll look here as well. What URL is this? Will it show me? It won't show me. So I can't tell what URL structure that is, if it has the www or not. And again, I would just have on all your social posts, just have a link back to your site. And I would also get that, so I would get this social profile linked on my site. Right now, they only have Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I would get you have Threads that's not linked on here. You also have LinkedIn that's not linked on here, and your Twitter account's not linked on here. I would definitely get that linked on this site. And then also, let's see what they're doing in their same as. So no same as schema. I would 100% get same as schema on your site, and I would have it linked back to all of your social profiles. And on all of your social profiles, I would make sure that you're linking to the correct URL, the non-www version of your site, because that's what you have for all your canonical tags. And then I would also start placing URL links to your website in all of your posts. Something else you can do, a quick little strat, cheat, whatever, is create a sitemap, but just for your social posts. So what I mean by this is that on your website, you will have a social posts page. On that page, it just has links to all of your social media posts. So you go and grab all the URLs and then you place them on this page. The reason why we do this is because we give Google a direct address or a direct way to go and find all of your social posts. And in your social posts, you're linking back to your site, and it just creates that whole loop. It's Google getting more content about you, and you're also just getting those social links, those social profile links, and the individual post links, all pointing back to your site, just helping Google get a better understanding of your business and helping increase your rankings. Okay, so that's their social profiles. No, same as schema. I definitely get same as schema on there. And we're just going to go back to kind of like looking at their site structure, seeing what they currently have got going on. If you want me to look over your site, drop the link in chat. If you want to drop your Google Business Profile, or if you want to drop the actual URL to your website, and I will take a look at it for you. So we're going to go, and now we're going to see kind of how they have their site structured. Right now, I'm just looking at their roofing types. So then they've also got asphalt roofing, and then they have residential. So I'm just looking at the URL structure. So they've got /roof repair, /asphalt roof repair. And then over here, they've got /residential. And they've got shingle options, 30-year. This is interesting. This one goes / roof repair / shingle repair. So it looks like they have a few. Bing is pretty harsh. It discovers but doesn't crawl. Have you ever had this problem? Can you? So there's a question in chat right now. Bing is pretty harsh. It discovers but doesn't crawl. Have you ever had this problem? No, personally, I haven't. I would also look. Are you experiencing the same thing on Google, or is this just Bing? I would look at your internal links. Like, how do you currently have everything linked internally? And what I mean by that is, so let's actually see if they have a good example. So this is what I would consider is a hub, right? So you go to / services, and on this hub, what they're doing is then they are linking to all of these individual pages, right? And so what this does is this helps is that Google will go homepage, hub, and then it'll have a list of all those URLs, and then just very simply you can go boom, 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 and then find all those URLs, and it knows what to crawl. I would also say like in your sitemap, having your sitemap be fully updated and optimized and like linking to all of your individual pages. You can also do a lot of these hubs. Another good example of a hub is, let's see if they do blogs. Do they have any blog content on here? This would just be another example, but they have a service area. Let's see. Do they have a service area? Yeah. So here again, just being, so hold on, just being Google's fine plus 100 on Google Search Console. Yeah, no, I would have to actually, I would have to have access to see it because I personally don't have that issue. And without like more context or seeing like what's going on, um, I wouldn't know. The only other things that I can consider is that you might have bots being blocked depending on who you're hosting through or who you're like kind of routing traffic through, right? There are some settings like, as an example, I'm not saying this is what currently is occurring for you. As an example, with Cloudflare, there are certain settings that can block certain bots or certain traffic from certain providers or what have you. You might have a setting somewhere enabled to block rather like certain crawlers or certain bots or certain AIs or certain LLMs. I would look into that. I would also look into how often are you submitting these pages to be crawled by Bing. You know, what is that like? Are you doing the same amount of effort that you're doing for Google Search Console? Uh, yeah, without actually seeing the site or seeing your Bing, I like on the back end, like your webmasters, really wouldn't be able to help too much. That is something though I would consider looking into is your server settings, especially on like Cloudflare. You can have instances in which you're just you're blocking all of that, right? Uh, yeah, that's the only thing I can consider. So back to hubs though. So if we look at this page, right, there's service area. I would say it's a hub. You can say it's a category. You can say whatever it is. Basically, what we're trying to achieve is that it just has links to other pages so that when Google comes by, it can instantly grab all of the URLs it needs. So we're making it as efficient as possible for Google when it comes by. It can just go homepage, goes from our navigation to this hub, from this hub, and then it now goes to all of these links, right? Now, they don't have these like typical links where it's like blue, like these, and underlined. These aren't underlined, but as an example, you can see that these are blue. These all right here are links. I can click any of these, and these will take me to their service area pages. So by doing this, they're making it super efficient and cheap for Google to come by and just crawl these and get an understanding of all the links that they have, right? They're also, this is really smart by them as well, this anchor text. So anchor text is just the text that when you click it, right? So example right here is exterior renovation services. They have that as the anchor text. So when you click it, you are then taken to that page, right? By having it be exact match to the service that they're trying to rank for, which I would assume because also in the URL structure, it has exterior renovation service. This is a great way because anchor text helps with relevance as well. This is a great way to link to these pages because then this can also help you rank for those keywords by using the exact match anchor text. And then you also got gutter installation. So we're just kind of looking over their service page, seeing what they're currently doing. This is quite a bit of text. It's a good page. 2,000 words. So they could also make these links as well. You know, get some more exact match anchor text. You don't want to overdo it, but you definitely want to get some like different variations in there. They got the testimonials. This is interesting. I personally wouldn't do it this way. This is probably WordPress. Let's see. Yeah, WordPress. And then they're probably using a plugin to pull the reviews. So again, if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them down in the chat. If you want to rather like link your Google Business Profile or link your website and you're okay with me going over it live, just drop the link down in the chat and I'll do that. So I want to look at these reviews real quick because it is a WordPress site. And so what I'm worried about is that this review content is being pulled in by JavaScript because 9 times out of 10 when I look at these sites, that's what's occurring. So Ahrefs Chrome extension, great Chrome extension. I highly recommend everyone get it. We are going to go look at content and we're going to look at raw versus rendered. Why we're doing this is let me first look and see before I explain this. Let me just double check and make sure. Yeah, so they're actually only doing a few of them, which is interesting. But either way, I will just touch on the core principle or what's occurring here. So when you use, let's just start with when you use JavaScript. Okay, so when you use JavaScript or you use React, right? So what these are frameworks. These are just coding frameworks, what have you, right? What they're called doesn't really matter. What occurs when you use them is what actually really matters. So when you're using these JavaScript frameworks, when you are using JavaScript in general, what is happening is that you on the page, you're feeding a script, right? So when we go look at the code here, what's happening is that there's a script occurring, right? I'm not going to go and find it in the code, but just as an example, listening about it, instead of displaying the content, what occurs is you're feeding the crawlers, you're feeding web browsers, you're feeding your users that come by a script, right? A JavaScript. What this means is that they have to go and render, or they have to go and run the script. What does that mean? They have to go and process the script, rather the browser or the crawler, what have you, right? There's an event that happens that will then go and process that. It will go run that code. When it goes and runs that code, then the content will be displayed. Okay, so what does that mean? So what we have to think about is when we as users, or another term you can think of it as is us as humans, when we go and see this, right, on this page, to us, it's on the page. To the crawlers, to the robots, to what have you, they see this, right? And they are fed that script. when they are fed that script, they then have to go and process it. Now for us, our browser automatically does this, okay? But for Google and for the crawlers, this is not automatically done. What they have to do is then they have to do another process where they have to have rendering enabled, right? Having rendering enabled is expensive. It's not the only instance that they have to have the rendering enabled to see the content. It's expensive because for Google, they have trillions of pages they have to crawl, and to have rendering enabled for trillions of pages to be crawled, that's super expensive. So, majority of the time when Google comes by to crawl your page, rendering is disabled. But what about the times rendering is enabled? Yeah, when rendering is enabled, all of a sudden you have a whole bunch of brand new content on your page, and Google now sees the reviews as just, this is just an example. This occurs anytime you're using JavaScript. But as an example, for when you're pulling reviews with a WordPress plugin, right, from your Google Business Profile, Google does not see this content a large majority of the time because it doesn't have rendering enabled. So let's say it does have rendering enabled and it comes by and crawls and sees the review content, and then that review content helps you rank. Well, when it doesn't have rendering enabled, there's nothing there for Google or for the crawlers. So what you may have occur, not saying this is guaranteed, what you may have occur is that you'll have these ranking fluctuations because Google will come by, see the content, Google will come by, won't see the content, and if the reviews that are being pulled from your WordPress plugin are pulling a majority of the content on your page, right? Let's say in this testimonial section that there was 100 reviews and they each had 2 to 3 sentences. That's a lot of content that disappears when Google's not having rendering enabled. When Google doesn't have rendering enabled, it doesn't see that. So you're just, that content's not there. You think it's there, but it's not. So a better solution, in my opinion, is to just go to static HTML. Pull it once, convert it to static HTML, then have it on the site. Now the plugin might not do it, but just again, I wouldn't recommend using this. I just go static HTML all the way. So we have another question in chat. So this question is referring back to Bing having issues with his Bing getting, sounds like index. So let's see. It's a pretty new website, low domain authority. This might be the reason. Customer doesn't care enough to build backlinks. I just did my part by indexing it in various search engines. But Bing is playing. I read Bing is checking for much more factors before I spend it all. I'm not sure if you want to check because it's a German customer. I'm just a third guy that built the website for somebody. Built the website for someone. I'm happy to take a look. If you would like me to. I just can't see the backend, the Bing webmasters, to get a better understanding of what's occurring. So that might also be I might not be able to solve your problem, but I'm more than happy to take a look. Okay, so we touched on the JavaScript rendering for this site. Honestly, they're doing a lot great. We can just see in this navigation, we're being taken to these main hubs. So he linked the site. Okay, so we're going to take a break at looking over this site, and we're going to look at this website. I just want to make sure. I'm going to check the stream. Make sure it's popping. We can see it. Okay. Just looking over everything, making sure everything's working. Okay. So we are going to look over this person's site. Looks like a renovation website. So my first guess, without looking at anything, is that this has JavaScript and this requires rendering. So let's look, and I was right. Well, it looks like it's translating it. Yeah. Huh. So is it translating it, or is it because let's just do German. Let's just do view page source. How are you getting content on the page? So let's just do this word, which I assume is renovation. We'll go over here. We'll do quotes. We'll type that. Okay. So it's only in your schema. So what happens if I remove a G? What happens if I remove the R? This doesn't occur at all. Okay, well, that's because I have quotes. That's why it's only showing me your schema. Okay, so let's go. Let's get out of your schema. Let's just see. So you've got that. That's there. That's a link. That's a JPEG. Meta content. These are all your meta tags. Okay. Title tag. Meta tags. Let's go. And so what I'm doing is I just took the first little bit of text on the page. And so what I'm trying to see is is this static HTML? How is this being displayed? Okay, so we've got a header tag, brand, MCT, brand right home. Okay. You've got the image alt text. So let's actually just search this whole thing. Make this a little bit easier on myself. Okay, so that doesn't appear. That phrase is not appearing in there. Okay. So let's just do a smaller portion. Nope. Okay, so nowhere is this being displayed. So this is leading me to believe that this is, yeah, this is probably all being rendered by JavaScript. No, they got the list tags. Huh. Let's close some of these tabs because it's getting kind of messy. Okay. Let's see. What is this built with? Let's do a refresh. Let's keep it in German. Open graph, Netlify. What is actually being used to build this? Maybe he can answer in the chat. What's being used to build this? So we're just looking over this guy's site, seeing if we can help him. This looks like it's a lot of JavaScript. And that might be why he's having indexing issues. Let's see here. I'll also use one of my internal tools. What we'll do is run an audit on this site. And I'll have it look over, just see what's occurring. Let me pull the stats. Okay. So that's interesting. You've got a hashtag home. So that takes me there. That's interesting. Okay. So projects. Make contact. Created by, oh, that's you. That's your Instagram. So we're just kind of doing a live help. Someone dropped their URL in chat. They're currently experiencing some indexing issues with Bing. Mostly HTML, 84%. When you say 84%, so are you talking about in your in your Google Search Console, you'll go to crawl stats, and then you'll go by bot type, and then by bot type, you're saying that it's 84% HTML? Or when you say you're pulling stats, what does that mean? You have to, I can't see what you're saying. You have to provide more context. Nah, it's the customer's Instagram. I just built the website. Okay. Third guy. I've got an internal tool currently right now crawling the site to see if it can find anything that may help. Something that's really confusing is you have a lot of these hashtag URLs. Sorry, I meant on GitHub. On GitHub. Huh. Is that what we are looking for? Is this what we are looking for? Yeah, so again, I can't see or understand what you're talking about. So as an example, what I'll do is I'll pull up a Google Search Console. This will help you. If you currently have access to this, this will help me understand what you're talking about. Actually, here. So this is one of my test sites. I'll show it off. So what you want to do, this is going to be for everybody. I'm going to take a pause at looking over your site. I'm just going to go over real quickly what to do in Google Search Console. So if you're worried about, if you don't know if you're using a lot of JavaScript, if you'd like to just know a little bit more about Google Search Console, this Google Search Console is a great resource. So what you can do is you can go to you're going to go to the homepage, you're going to go to settings, you're going to go to crawl stats, and in here, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to scroll down a little bit. This is going to show you the bots that Google is sending to crawl your website, the type of bots Google is sending to crawl your website. So one is by file type. Right here we got HTML, we got other file type, CSS, image. If you see JavaScript high here, that is a big issue. You do not want a high JavaScript by file type crawl rate from Google. Yeah, there's also a lot of other great resources in here to get a better understanding of like what's happening to your site in relation to Google. That was just a quick touch on for the person I'm trying to help in chat real quick. If you don't have access to the Google Search Console, don't worry about it. I currently have a tool, my internal tool, crawling the site. Let's see what it said. So I'm just waiting on my internal tool to get back to me. It's currently looking over your site real quick. Let's get back to chat. Yeah, JavaScript 6%. Interesting. 75% image. That's a lot. How many images do you have on this page? Huh. So you've got that many images. How much content? 980? Huh. Let's go to your projects. Is it the same thing? You might just have be like real. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Only 200 words? There's Not to be rude, but there's like nothing on this page. Yeah, yeah. You sorry. You probably have more text in your alt text than you do on page. That's definitely a thing. So actually, so don't. This is great. This is actually really good. Okay, so I'm gonna explain this because I think this concept's great. I wish more people knew about it, and I wish more people implemented this. So what you need. So I just said that this page has low content, right? Like word count. You do not have to go and make a skyscraper article, right? You do not have to go and add a ton of text on this page. What you can very simply do is make it to where when this image is clicked, it will flip, and then behind it you'll have like a few paragraphs of text, right? So here's a great example of this. So this is a demo site I made, right? So right here, you have this about team, right? You see this? So you click and then boom, wall of text. You don't have to make a skyscraper article. You don't have to have a whole bunch of text on page. And look, I can go and show you, right? We'll go here, we'll go to content. There's 2,500 words on this page, right? But as a user, as like my user experience, to me, there's really not that much text. Like, boom, I go here, I go here, I go here, I go here. All of my SEO is a little hidden, right? Unless you scroll in this, you don't see my SEO. Like, you don't have to have these giant skyscraper articles or walls of text. You could just have the SEO hidden. You have 7 service pages. Where are your 7 service pages? I do not. Oh, they're down here. Why then? If you have that, why? What? This doesn't make sense. So services takes me here. Okay, so I have to go here, then I have to go here. Okay, so for coding wise or the bots, that doesn't really matter. User experience, I don't really understand this. This doesn't really make sense to me. But that's not. You can make it however you want. So you can do the review wall that I just showed here as well, right? Make it so rather they can keep going to the right or what have you. What is this? This has 1,000 words. Not terrible. I would just, if this is JavaScript, that's probably what is hurting you. And especially if you have JavaScript that's requiring these URLs to be rendered. So that's also another big thing that can happen is that if the content that's in that JavaScript that's required to run to render, if you have URLs in there and 80% of the time it comes by and the URLs aren't there because it doesn't have rendering enabled, then the content's just not there. It just doesn't know about it, right? Check out the accordion on home. Okay. So I click home. Accordion. Oh, you were telling me about finding the services? Yeah, honestly, I would have this as a drop down. I would not have this take me to the home page to then be taken to drop downs. This should just itself be a drop down, in my opinion. You don't have to do what I say. You can do whatever you want. But I would that should definitely be a drop down. View services. Yeah, I don't. This is confusing to me. Something I would also recommend is getting Post Hog. It's free. Install it on your site, and what you can do is you can literally, you can literally watch the POV from people visiting your site. So with Post Hog, it will track their mouse movements. It will track their scrolls, right? And you can see your customer's experience or your customer journey and what they're currently frustrated with and not understanding of like the site structure. Now, granted, also this is in German and it's not in English, so I can't read it. So I'm kind of just having to like fumble around of like what's currently going on in this site. Another thing, like I was talking about earlier with hiding your SEO, you can get verbose on these FAQs. I think this is FAQ. Yeah, this is FAQ. Under your FAQ, you can like triple the amount of content here and just get more content on page without having to remove the customer journey. I think what's happening is I think there's JavaScript being used to render URLs and content, which is probably what's hurting you. Okay. Let's see. So my internal tool. Do you have a sitemap? You have a sitemap. Okay. Uh, is your sitemap updated? Does it link to all of your pages? I would check that. That's another thing you need to consider. And then what is this saying? Oh, I have to refresh this. Oh, this is just saying that you're missing 20. This is saying that you're missing 20 alt text on some of your images. You have 13 lazy loaded, which is great. Yeah. Yeah, without seeing the exact like Bing data, I don't really I don't really know. I can only tell you what I've found so far. Huh. Yeah. The other thing too I would consider asking is how long you've been trying to get it indexed in Bing. I feel a little bad you've got a UTM parameter on this, but I'm clicking it, but I have no intention of buying anything. So you're like, well, I'm getting all this traffic, but it's just me. Yeah, so you've got it redirecting to the non-www version. Your external links are non-www. I can't think of anything else. We'll search it in quotes. Well, actually, we should do this on Bing. So, I mean, you've got pages. You only have one page or about 187 results. Okay. I'm human. Bing regex site colon. What's the regex for Bing? Is there a site colon command similar to Google for Bing search? Let's just see. Wow. So it does work, but you just don't have anything. Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, I wonder why that is. Also, I don't know why you have this. I don't know why every time I click this, I'm taken to /# home. I feel like the URL should just be home, or not even home, just the top level domain. But you don't have anything indexed in Bing. That's fascinating. I wonder why. Is it because I'm not? Oh, it might be because I'm not in Germany. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, that's all I can see for right now. Yeah, without having access to the Bing backend, there's not much more I can offer here. Oh, I hope it helps. I hope you learned something. All right, so I've been live for an hour and 15. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope everyone has a great day.